show you all of our flashcards for quite some time now, for like 6 months or more. This flashcard basket needs to be cleaned out and it's in really bad shape, so we're gonna clean it out together and I'm gonna show you guys my flashcards. So we're gonna start out with some of my very favorite cards here, and these are some of the first, or among the first flashcards I ever purchased. They're art flashcards. On the front, they have the pictures, and on the back, they have what the name of the picture is, who painted the picture, and other details for your child to learn. And again, these are some of our very favorite. We love art. They're very lovely. The pictures are perfect. I got them from Usborne. I do believe you can find these off of Amazon as well. I have seen them other places. We just studied the Impressionist, so I had my children go through and find all of the cards that they thought looked like Impressionist art. And so there's all kinds of different ways you can use these cards. And again, the pictures on these are just absolutely pristine. This one has been bent. You can tell this is a really well loved. And more art cards. These ones came from My Father's World. We use My Father's World as our core curriculum for all of the grades from 3rd through 8th. And so these came with one of the packages. We have done all the levels so far, except we skipped Rome to Reformation, and we did something else that year. I will definitely be buying Rome to Reformation in the coming years. But anyways, these came again with the My Father's World packages. And you can buy these separate without buying a bunch of the other curriculum. These ones don't have as much information on the back. As you can see, they just list the artist, when it was painted, the mediums used, oil on canvas. These are to use in tandem with God and the History of Art. And that is the curriculum that we get for art, and it's through My Father's World. So lots of beautiful art pieces here, or art pictures. These are a gift. These were given to me years ago. These are fun. I have had to buy these twice because first time around my kids lost like half of them. So this is our second time having this batch of cards. These are state cards. Super duper handy when the kids are learning their states. So they have the state on the front, and then they have a little bit of information, and they have more information on the back that kids can take in chunks. I know a lot of the Charlotte Mason crowd is probably going to not be as impressed with this next batch of cards. These are Common Core task cards, and the entire purpose that I got these was because in our state, kids are required to do yearly testing. I really don't like it when my kids are doing their testing and they know things, but they have test anxiety and they can't remember. So I got these to help my children test. So these are Common Core task cards, language arts, and I only have one grade. This is for grade 6 here. So I have more here. These are context clues. Again, I bought these for my children to just prepare them for tests and help them test a little bit higher than they might have without these. These are context clue cards, and so what they do is they give them a little passage here, and then they have to answer the question about what the passage is about. And the answers are on the other side. And so these, again, not Charlotte Mason at all. However, I love them because they do help the children do test better, and they do help build reading skills. These cards are great for building reading skills. These are great for special needs kids that really struggle when it comes to comprehending reading. And it also is great for ADHD kids as well. I also have inference cards. These context ones, they come in reading levels. And so this was 2.0 to 3.5 reading level. And I think that's what these ones were too. And these are the inference cards. So again, they give a much bigger portion of information, and then the child has to answer these questions. And like I said, these really help children build reading skills and help them. Something that I forgot to mention, a lot of kids aren't going to need these. A lot of kids are going to naturally get it, but your ADHD kids and your special needs kids might not always. And so they are the children that especially benefit from these types of learning materials or these types of flashcards. These are fun if you have kids that really hate spelling. They're called Spellominos. And the way that these work is they get to flip them over and they get to build words. And sometimes they'll build words that aren't actually words, they're make-up words, and they're funny. And so whenever they build a word that's not actually a real word, they will always giggle, and so they have a lot of fun with these. And then they get excited when they build a word like this that really is a word. And you put the blue with the red, and then they can read it. It also helps them with reading, and it can work different ways. So you can do them, you know, like you can use them this way and you can use them this way. Of course, we have sight reading cards to help them learn, you know, like common words. These are, again, just sight reading. They have a picture on one side and then the word on the back. I don't believe these would be considered Charlotte Mason at all, but we love them because some of my kids really struggle with vocabulary. We love doing the Charlotte Mason method of learning vocabulary, where they read lots of good books, and it does help. Some of the kids don't need anything extra. Some of our children do. And so for the children that need something extra, we love these. So what they do is, these are just vocabulary. I've got 5th grade and 4th grade here, and this has helped the children that really struggled with vocabulary to learn vocabulary much more quickly. And I mean, it works, whereas other things didn't. We've tried Wordly Wise too. It didn't work for some of our kids. It did for some. The kids that it didn't work with, these work with. These are, they have like the word on the front and what it means, and then you flip it over and they show you how to pronounce it. They split it into syllables. They have the meanings. We like to use these as more than just vocabulary cards. We like to use these for the children that really struggle with spelling. These seem to help them. So they learn the spelling word at the same time they're learning the vocabulary word. I know that some people say that's not the best way to learn spelling. For a couple of our children though, we've tried so many different spelling methods, and this worked whereas nothing else did. Something about it just seemed to click with the kids that were struggling with spelling. So what they do is they will pull out 5 to 10 different cards. If they're long words like this, then they'll only do maybe like 5. But if they're shorter words, they'll do more. And they put them up on the corkboard. We put it on the corkboard, and they could be looking at them all week long and practicing them all week long. Rewards systems, where we let our children pick a reward if they get all their spelling cards right. That also seems to help for some of the kids. Not all of the kids, just some of them. And we don't do an expensive reward. Usually it's just something really inexpensive from the dollar store. And here's the second batch. Again, they're just a little less complicated, or more complicated, because these are the 5th grade. They have a divider, so the kids can put the ones that they've mastered in the front and the ones that they haven't mastered yet in the back. I got these off of Etsy. These are Ivy League Kids cards. These are flashcards. So we got collection 1 and collection 2 here, and it says for kids and adults of all ages. I will tell you, I love them as an adult. I think they're a blast. And so there's so many different games the kids play with these too. They have, I think one of them is places and the other one is people. I can't remember how that works, but I do recommend both. So we have famous figures on some of these, and then on some of them we have famous places, as you can see. So this of course is Winston Churchill, and then we've got, I'm not sure how to pronounce this place, Neuschwanstein Castle. It's a German word, I believe. Yes, it's in Germany. Romanesque style palace in Germany. So see, they've got information on the back, which is super fun for the kids. So for the younger kids that are like ages 5 to 6, they just look at the pictures. And then the next year, when they know how to read well, they can look at the picture and the name of the place on the back. In a year or two after that, they can start to memorize some of the facts. And again, I think that this really helps children because it's buildable. They kind of like build on what they're already learning, and they remember things better this way. And like I said, they love these. The kids enjoy going through these so much. So this one was, I think, the famous places and people will tell me on the back. It does not tell me on the back. Oh yes, it does. These are human-made wonders, scientists and pioneers, art, music, and literature, natural wonders, leaders, and athletes. So that's just a little bit of a rundown. And I think this one was more art. Oh no, it's still famous people and art. So we got Isaac Newton here. So there was a week where my older high school kids were learning more about Isaac Newton. And so we had the younger children, we pulled these cards out and had the younger children learning a little bit about Isaac Newton at the same time. And again, when kids learn about this going through elementary school, like they become familiar with the general idea of who the person is, it really helps them so much when they start to get to those upper grades because they already have something to build on. Okay, here I have various different phonics cards, and I like having phonics cards in various types from various brands because a lot of times kids will start to get familiar with the picture and they kind of, I guess, I don't know, for lack of better wording, they get immune to, you know, like the sound that they're learning. So these are nice. I got these off of Amazon, I believe, but I have various different phonics cards. These are just one of the types of phonics cards that I have. We have more sight reading cards. These are on a lower level, so they're easier. They have the pictures on the front, the word on the back that they can sound out. So here we have US President flashcard. I think this is the second batch of these I've had to buy too. We have the president on the front, and on the back we have a lot of information about the president. One of the things that I love about flashcards is that I can do these with the kids, or I can just hand them a few flashcards and tell them, hey, learn a bunch of this on the back. Or I can tell them, I want you to write down in your very best handwriting this section here or this section down here, or pick something. A lot of times I'll say, what is your favorite thing about this president? What really impresses you about them? And I will have them pick one of these points to write down for handwriting practice. Also helps them to, learn, just internalize the information about that president a little bit better than they might have. I have a lot of cards from the Good and the Beautiful here. These are spelling flashcards, the spelling rules. I've been looking for something like this since the beginning. I've been homeschooling for 12 years, and I really wish I'd had something like this in the very beginning of our homeschool journey. Anyways, these are the spelling rules for them to memorize. I find that the flashcards work better than if we are to have a full sit-down lesson. This is much shorter, and it seems to work better for my children than, we still do this full sit-down lessons, of course, but they seem to learn more from these short, quick little lessons than they do like the long, drawn-out lessons when it comes to spelling. More from the Good and the Beautiful here. These are the ones you can print. So if you go to their website, they have ones you can download and print yourself. So that's what these are. We got geography and grammar flashcards from the Good and the Beautiful. You guys, these are the bomb. They work so well, and my kids have learned so much from these flashcards. We were really struggling with some of these concepts and details before when it came to geography and grammar, but these, they work. My kids know all of their states now, I think. There are more of these geography flashcards. And then here we have the grammar flashcards. I think grammar flashcards are one of the most effective ways that we have learned grammar rules. They do the lesson, but then they have these to reinforce the lesson. So I guess you could say the lessons, of course, are definitely needed, and they're how you teach the child about what is on these cards. But these cards help them remember, whereas they would have maybe forgotten if they weren't going through these from time to time. So we really like these, and I appreciate these cards so much. As you can see, I like to keep these in plastic baggies or else rubber bands. And I will tell you a little tip here. Start doing flashcards. If you have to do yearly testing, start 2 to 3 months in advance, having your kids do flashcards for a certain amount of time every day. Their scores will likely be higher if you do that. Here we have some fraction flashcards. These are super duper helpful. I don't know about you guys, but I think fractions can be fun to teach, but they can be really complicated for kids to learn. I remember I had trouble learning fractions in school. So we like to take fractions and learn them from various different methods. Flashcards are just one of the methods that we use for flashcards. I actually have manipulatives to help teach fractions as well. So we have the number on the back, and then, or the fraction on the back, and we have, oh, look at that, we have some spaghetti sauce or food here on this one too. And then we have the piece of the pie that it represents. They have other information in here too, like here's the minus or the subtract sign, and yeah, so these are super duper handy. I'm gonna take a little break and I'll show you guys my flashcard basket. This is secondhand. This is a little container I found secondhand. I think it's a tea organizer, but it works really well for all of the little flashcards. And then again, these came again in the whole child collection that I bought about a year ago, I believe. And I'm sure you can probably find something similar if these aren't available anymore, but they're mindfulness cards that help children learn how to rest and relax, because not everybody can do that naturally. So over in this bin, I have the flashcards that I do with the children that they don't really know how to do and they can't really do without me, and that I don't want getting mixed up. Okay, so these are phonics flashcards from the Good and the Beautiful, and I printed these ones myself, which was very difficult. I don't recommend doing that if you get confused easily when it comes to printing your own front and back papers and PDFs. So these were hard for me to make, but I did it and we got through. I will buy them again if I need to buy more, but they're great, these phonics flashcards. As you can see, there's quite a few of them, a lot. I believe I got these from Harbor and Sprout. If you guys aren't familiar with Harbor and Sprout, I'm happy to share them with you because I absolutely adore Harbor and Sprout. They have the most amazing team artists. I don't know if these came from Harbor and Sprout. These are the continent flashcards, but these are great. Kids have a lot of trouble with continents, so flashcards help them learn continents versus like long drawn out lessons. They're quick, and I find that those quick lessons that flashcards provide are sometimes the most meaningful lessons that are remembered. So again, we've got these. These are not flashcards, they're in here though. These are character books, character training books. I think I got them from Christian Book, but they're like a flashcard size. So they're in with the flashcards, but they have different character traits for your children to learn, from greed to laziness, bad temper, and they just help children grow better character traits. Another thing I like about these is that if your child likes to do art, they can do recreations of these on their own. So you can make a little art lesson where they get to paint this, and it's something that they could easily paint. But these are just flashcards to help them remember geography. I don't know if these are still available. Again, I got these with the Whole Child collection, and these are just cards that help children learn more about their emotions, more about how to carry themselves and how to deal with emotions. And that's a really critical skill that is often overlooked. But like this card here, it's a courage card, and it helps them learn affirmations. So the affirmation for the courage card is, I am cautious and sometimes afraid. It's okay to feel these emotions. And then I stand up for myself. So some people might not like these. I think they're great. We have a couple children with ADHD. One of the downsides of having ADHD is you often are unaware of what you're feeling. You might be hungry, but you don't realize it because your body doesn't slow down enough for you to consciously think that you're hungry. So I find things like this are very helpful with children that have special needs and ADHD. These are great. More affirmation cards for your children. I am loving these. Came from that Whole Child collection again. And if you're interested in these, I'm going to have to look and see if the makers who contributed to the Whole Child collection are still doing them. But again, I just really love these, and I will try to find all of the sources for all of these wellness cards and put them in the links below for you guys. Again, we have more affirmation cards for older kids or kids that are probably around the like 7, 8 age. I am brave, I am creative. They're just positive affirmation cards. And you know, if you've had kids and you're homeschooling because you had kids that were bullied, these are going to be great for them. These are great for the little kids. They're just fun little cards for the little kids to do. And again, they came from the Whole Child collection. This is a painting my stepmother did for us. Isn't that sweet? She is an amazing artist. I just realized I showed you everything except for the math flashcard and these. I'm not going to show you the math flashcards because we all know what math flashcards look like, don't we? These are AP flashcards though. So these are to help them become more familiar with the dates, the events that happened, and the places, because I feel like those are why a lot of people don't like history and struggle with history. So again, these are just flashcards to help them become more familiar with, you know, the big events in history. So here's George Washington's leadership in the American Revolution, and then it's got some details on the back for them to remember. And this is 500 flashcards. I got it off of Amazon. It's Barron's, completely redesigned for the new AP US history exam. Covers all major topics from pre-Columbian America to present day. Provides both a quick refresher and comprehensive review of course content, and offers historical connections on each card for insights to essay topics. So definitely handy for high schoolers. I will show you the flashcard, but not up close up. This is our math card. All the flashcards are in a basket on the bottom. As you can see, it's overflowing. I love flashcards because you can take the flashcards on a day when either you or your kids are just having a hard time getting your brain into the thought of doing schoolwork, flashcards are fun. They're non-overwhelming. You can take just a few at a time, or you can take a whole batch of cards at a time and just flip through them. If you need to go make lunch or something, but you don't want the kid to be just running off to play or going for screen time or something like that, give them flashcards and they will learn so much from them. My kids have learned a ton of information from flashcards because, like I said, there's something about them that is non-overwhelming, that engages the brain. I don't know if you would call them kinesthetic. They seem to have the same result a kinesthetic or hands-on object would have. Maybe that's one of the reasons they work so well.